feel like the perfect example to summarize how far Star Wars toys on kind of a base consumer level have gone down is the new AT-AT, which is coming out alongside Rogue One. This is actually, full disclosure, this is an AT-ACT or an AT-ACT. It's appropriate. I'm wearing a Mars Attack shirt. This thing looks pretty cool here. This is obviously a super promo shot. It's got motorized walking. It's got this like cabana that comes out, and it comes with the Jyn Erso. It comes with a pilot, and it comes with a little Imperial probe droid or not probe droid
and a zip line.
Yeah, the zip line's cool. It's motorized for walking, and this is the part that kind of bugs me: is you download an app to make it walk around. Now these things have always been like this sort of the holy grail for kids who want to buy a Star Wars toy. Like since the first one was released, this is one of the biggest toys in the original Star Wars toy line. So here's kind of a breakdown in the last 20 years of how much these things have cost. In 1997, you got one that was electronic, which cost a lot at the time, and it had missile launching and sound effects. It came with a pilot and another guy, and you could open it up and put them inside there. It was basically half a playset, half a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Then they made a second version in 2006 it came with other guys, and it cost $90, and it was like it had more paint. It was way bigger.
Yeah.
It was a totally new version, new sculpt. It had
very interesting to see the scale on the head change size in all of these, by the way.
Actually, this one might have been the same one as the first one repainted. They did a lot of repaints, and they kind of shuffled around the packaging. I do know for a fact the 2010 version was nuts. That's where they got really big. They made one that was almost to scale with the rest of the vehicles and stuff. It still had like lights and sounds and phrases, and it came with a spader bike. Yeah, like the famous AT-AT line, "Sound of snowspeeder exploding." But yeah, it had like a speeder bike you could put in there. It had like little offices, like you had all these dudes that could pop in there, and they, still launch missiles and did all that crap. And in 2010, obviously inflation is a thing, but that was $100. And then there was one that was put out only at Toys R Us in 2013, which is pretty recently.
Yeah.
This came with, you can kind of see it here. This came with a stupid amount of action figures.
Are those a whole bunch of Ewoks down there?
It came with Ewoks. I know it came with, it shows a lot of them here, and I think some of them were like, figures not included, but it came with a bunch of them. It came with a bunch of Rebel troopers, it came with some pilots and stuff, and it had stuff that lit up inside it. Again, this was kind of going overboard, and it was $150. What's really important to note about this is this was first announced in Comic-Con 2012. Mm-hmm. I think it wasn't released until later on in 2013. But it was like, this was a pre-Disney buy, Star Wars toy. The one that's coming out this year, which has 3 figures with limited articulation, it's got that cabana, and it shoots Nerf darts, and it's app enabled, it's almost twice as much.
That's nuts.
That is nuts. Like that's
it's also like
I know that it's obviously there's inflation and there's things that change and there's stuff that I totally don't understand, but I feel like if you have to point to one product that's like, here's what's wrong with Star Wars toys on just a basic consumer level, like this thing kind of sucks.
So the interesting thing too is that this is basically unpainted. Like if you go back to that promo shot where it's really gloriously lit, this thing looks awesome, right? This looks really cool here because it's got the sunshine beach lighting.
Yeah.
Copacabana stuff.
No, it's pretty much 2 colors.
And then you go right over here and it doesn't look that great. So yeah, I'm kind of bummed out.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can buy one of these used and paint it yourself, kind of kit bash it a little bit, you might be into it, but
I don't know. Like Disney's making better Star Wars movies, but I think they're making way less fun Star Wars toys. And it's sort of like one of those weird things where people accuse George Lucas of only making Star Wars movies to sell toys, but he kind of revolutionized collecting culture, and I don't know. Like I'm bummed out about it. So
yeah, me too. Anyway, if you want to see some really cool Star Wars merchandise, hop on over to StarWars.com. Max and I were special guests on the Star Wars show this week, and we went over to Rancho Obi-Wan. They shot a whole bunch of really cool segments there. That was just a really cool place to be. Just an amazing museum of Star Wars merch.